Hey, it's Eric Lee from Starfish Coaching. A lot of my clients come to me and say that they are taking on way too much and they have no work-life balance and they feel tied to their business. In this video, I will share with you the number one thing that I coach them on to help them with this issue. When I dive into the issue, the crux of the problem is almost always because they have not learned to or willing to delegate. Yes, that is one of those things that sounds simple to do, but is actually very hard to execute. I know because it took me the first few years growing as a business owner and CEO to do this myself. This is extra hard for those of us who are very successful as a solopreneur. And then start to scale our business because we've just gotten so good at doing things ourselves and have set a very high bar for anyone that comes to help take things off our plate. Unbeknownst to us, the standard that we've set is very hard to live up to. And because they can't do it as well as us, then the common thought that we have in our mind is that I'd rather do it myself because I can do it better and faster. Then why delegate to others? Well, you are 100% correct in your thinking. You will do it faster and better than anyone else. But the problem is, when your business gets bigger, there is so much volume of work to be done and there is only one of you and you only have 24 hours, assuming you don't sleep. This is when you need to learn to let go and delegate. So I'm going to be honest with you. Other people will not do it better or even as good as you. And they will not do it faster than you. Do you know why? Because they are not you. You are judging that task based on your standards and only you can live up to that standard. So here's the brutal, honest fact. Until you can understand and accept this fact, you won't be able to delegate. As someone who has been so successful doing things on their own for so long, it is very hard to let go. I relate. But the truth is, you will only get some time freedom and work-life balance back for yourself when you learn to delegate. Assuming you're ready to accept that fact, here's 3 tips I can give you on effective delegation. 1, identify which hats you are good at and passionate about and pass on all the other hats that you're not. This is a hard step for many because a lot of solopreneurs are wearing all the hats and they've gotten very good at doing all of them. But you have to make that distinction between what you are really naturally good at and passionate about versus what you've gotten good at and still doing because you haven't had a team to delegate to. This may be something like bookkeeping. Maybe in the early startup days, you had to do this yourself, and you may have even learned how to do it very quickly and effectively. But unless you wake up super excited and jazzed to be inputting those numbers, this is not your task. You should not be hanging on to it. Once you've come up with this list, there will be 2 groups of tasks. The ones that you don't like to do or are not passionate about, these tasks should be delegated out once you've built your team. Then there are those that you are naturally good at, passionate about, and have a natural capacity to do it and do it very well. These tasks within the company should be elevated to you to be one of your tasks. In the book Traction by Gino Wickman, he calls this concept elevate and delegate. 2, a second tool that I teach my clients to help them with delegation is the Eisenhower's matrix, which Stephen Covey also talks about in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, a classic book if you haven't read it. This is more of a time management tool, but can definitely be used for effective delegation. In a busy day, we often fall victim to doing the most urgent thing first because it feels like the most important thing in that moment. And before you know it, the day has ended and all the important stuff that we plan to do for our business never gets tackled. And then it repeats the next day and the next day and the next day. So you can use the Eisenhower's matrix to assess everything that comes in your day and see if it really should be you who does it. Here's how to use the matrix. Take all of the tasks that come in during your day and put them in these 4 quadrants. There will be tasks that are either urgent or not urgent, and they will either be important or not important. If they fall in quadrant 1, urgent and important, then you want to do that first. If they fall in quadrant 2, not urgent but important, then you want to schedule this in your calendar to do, but at a time that fits. If they fall into quadrant 3, urgent and not important, then you want to delegate this to someone else to do it. It's not important, so it doesn't have to be you, but it does still need to be dealt with. And if they fall into quadrant 4, not urgent and not important, then you really want to be asking yourself, why is this even on your list at all? These could be things like checking your social feed or other stuff that if you didn't do it, then no substantial consequence will occur. We have a lot of these types of things that creep into our daily life, and the purpose of this quadrant is to help you spend your precious time better by allowing you to choose to not do these things. This is being proactive versus reactive in your day. Number 3, determine an arbitrary worth for your own time and choose your task based on that. Many people do all sorts of tasks in their business because they haven't learned to delegate because of the various reasons I talked about in this video. But when I show them the insanity and the opportunity cost lost in doing every task themselves, then they start to wake up. My tip here is to pick a dollar number that you feel your time is worth. This could be some random number that makes you feel good, like you are worth X dollars per hour. Or it could be a calculated amount once you factor in your hourly rate with your overhead and burden, etc. It really doesn't matter as long as you have a number pegged in your head. So let's say, for instance, you say that your time is worth $100 an hour. As an easy number for demonstration purposes, then next time you choose to do a task, tell yourself you are actually paying $100 an hour to do that task. So for instance, if you are still doing bookkeeping yourself, then your company is actually paying someone $100 to do that task, when in reality, you can contract out that same task to a bookkeeper for $30 to $60 an hour. So even at $60 an hour, the high end of things, you are saving yourself $40 an hour by not doing it yourself. That's how I want you to think about your time from here. If you are still doing every little task, then you are actually paying a big cost in terms of lost opportunity, because you could have used your time to do that task that are worth so much more to the company, like business development and networking. The 3 hours a week that you spend doing bookkeeping means that you have 3 hours less a week to bring in more business, which could be much more valuable to the company as a whole than bookkeeping. Imagine Steve Jobs doing bookkeeping instead of coming up with that next breakthrough product that will sell millions in volume for Apple. That, my friend, is insanity. So I hope this video gives you some insight and reasons to start to delegate. That is really the only way you can start to free yourself up from all the hats of a small business and start to get some work-life balance back for yourself. If you like my content, please pass along my videos and subscribe to support my channel down here. I'm Eric Lee, and I can turbocharge your success.